As I went through telecommunications, I realized there's different ways to do different things. And I was very intrigued by the dot-com era. I was very intrigued by computers, very intrigued by systems. But at the time that I got into telecommunications with calling cards, it wasn't really out there. An Excel spreadsheet was where it was at, and that was about it. And as it developed and we started realizing VoIP technology and started realizing internet, started realizing marketing and how to make all those work together, it was a tough challenge in my early years. In 2000, 1999, 98, in 2001, it was a very tough thing to do because I couldn't get enough people online to go look at what we were trying to do. And we tried over and over and failed over and over. But we got the retail distribution to work. We were able to put out agents through our stores throughout the country, and word of mouth would spread, but the internet wasn't there. In 2004, we started doing point of sale. And in point of sale, when I started doing that and really being aggressive in point of sale, I was able to go ahead and start capitalizing on technology. And once we started doing that, did that for a few years, it took off, it did very well. I took a company from doing zero locations to 25,000 locations doing $50 million a year. And after I sold that company due to a lawsuit, we started having an argument about patent technologies. We ended up winning. And the only way the company could keep its patent active was to buy us because we had prior art. Ended up selling, took a few years off, did some internet marketing, really started doing a little bit there. And then finally was able to make a business and had a business idea of how to make internet marketing and collaborative telecommunications and take the best of what I knew in both worlds, and that's where I started Q-Link. Q-Link started because of me sitting on a bench and a young lady sitting next to me in a mall who was complaining about a cell phone that was a government cell phone that didn't work. And I started looking at her saying, what is that? She started explaining it to me. I was immediately on the phone with attorneys throughout the country saying, I think I have a next business. I think I have an idea of how to make this work. I looked at the way that people did this business and I thought they did it wrong. I thought they were only reaching major metropolitan areas. And by reaching these major metropolitan areas, I felt there was a market that was outside of that where they could reach. And I didn't like the agent model. The agent model was a tough model because you had to rely on these agents that you invest your time and money and effort into and build them into big agents. And one day they would leave you and go to the competition. So, and I had experienced that before in prior businesses. So then what I did is I said, there has to be a way to do this online. Let's reach it without any agents. And we went out and, we took a company doing zero to a little bit under 2 million customers. Today, my revenue this year is probably gonna be about $200 million a year. So, and that was started all from an idea because of a girl sat on a bench next to me and complained about a phone. It wasn't the internet that made the business successful. The internet was the vehicle that we used to make it successful. What made the business successful was being able to have technology, development, websites, and people behind it that were willing to make things agile and more nimble. And that's what made us successful. When you look at the competitors in our space, the competitors are publicly traded companies that run very corporate and very structured. And when you're publicly traded, you have a lot more red tape to go through. So first and foremost, our competitors are very comfortable where they're at. They've done TV, radio, and they've done agents, and that has worked for them. And they built the business, but I feel at some point the churn starts to happen where they're really churning on and adding on the same amount of customers, and they're not reaching new market segments. The agent model doesn't allow you to do that. What we've done with the internet is you're able to reach anybody, whether they're on a farm in Iowa or whether they're a major metropolitan city like Chicago, we're able to reach that person. And that's made us very agile and very successful at what we do. The other thing that our competitors do, are because of the agility, it takes them a long time to make decisions. We have a $200 million a year company that we run as a startup. We run it in the sense of we don't lose our agility, and it lets us make decisions and listen to our customers directly. One of the most important things that we've done in our business is, besides the technology and innovation, was keeping it all in-house. By keeping customer service on the third floor of our building, keeping fulfillment on the second floor of our building, keeping technology and compliance on the fourth floor of our building, what we're able to accomplish is that we're able to firsthand see customer experience, whether it be through the shipping and how the boxes leave, or whether it be through listening to our customer service calls and hearing what the customers are talking about, whether good or bad, and making improvements to make that experience better. The milestone that I reached in my career where I realized I was doing something unique and something new is when I started meeting with government officials. Here's a kid that grew up bagging groceries, working valet car service, working in grocery stores, thought I was going to go to medical school, that didn't work out, and start walking in and meeting with the FCC chairman's office or the Senate senators or the commissioners or the congressmen. That's a reality check. That's when you realize, this is not where I ever envisioned being or ever envisioned having any say. or helping write laws and procedures for the government. That's when I realized, I said, this is, I'm a whole different level than when I was a kid. When I came into this business, the one thing I believed is not reinventing the wheel. I started researching what attorneys and what law firms are out there that are very well connected in the space, and what advertising agencies and just different agencies throughout the country. And started really touching base with them and trying to find out who the right people were, who the right players were. And whether it be that I hired retired attorneys that worked in certain public commission's office, or whether I hired retired senators to work with us to help us further our goal of Q-Link and further growth. We work with various nonprofits. We were actually just in a school in Dade County that we worked with the Embrace Community Group program for young girls who they are trying to help build a foundation for in the future for. We actually just did a complete renovation of their classroom, gave them all the tools, necessities that they need to help further their education. We actually just did that last week. I think that Q-Link is unique. Q-Link is a company that provides a lifeline service to needy individuals throughout the country, but not to make phone calls, not to send a text message, not just to surf the internet, but we're helping 10-year-old children gain access to the internet in an area that they usually don't have access to the internet to, whether they're sitting in front of a McDonald's trying to steal the Wi-Fi passcode to be able to do their homework, or standing in front of a library trying to gain access, just to be able to do homework and do their regular studies. And what I've realized is because of what we do, because of what we naturally do as a business, it is only natural for Q-Link to explore and go out into the world and help social markets and help social environments. And I think that one of the biggest things that we can ever do in our life is have an impact on children. I believe children are, what we need to impact. A lot of people come in and say, we want to help this kind of a foundation or that kind of a foundation. I believe that if you help the young, it will naturally prosper to something later in the future. On December 12th, we gave back to the Embrace Foundation. We helped build this classroom, put it together, and helped provide some technology and just a nice atmosphere for these little girls to be able to prosper and flourish. And at the end, we go out and we say, we have one more surprise for you. It's Christmas. We figured it's Christmas time. So we go out and we give all these girls these brand new Samsung tablets to further the program, to help grow it. And we thought we were done. And then they turned around and said, we have a surprise for you. And in comes the Miami-Dade Public Schools Director, and in comes a representative from Congresswoman Frederica Wilson's office, who says, we'd like to present you with an award. And he takes out this congressional proclamation with my name on it, and says, for giving back to the community, we want to present you and recognize what you do for the community, and thank you. And it was just a very memorable moment. When Q-Link Wireless was established, one of the foundations of Lifeline itself, the program, it was a program established in 1984 under Ronald Reagan. The program was established for wireline home phone service. In 2006, when Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans, under the George Bush administration, they allowed a wireless cell phone for people to be able to utilize it in times of devastation and need. So when Hurricane Harvey occurred in Texas, the irony set in that the FCC and the government didn't even have a procedure for that. So we went out and met with the FCC and said there has to be a better way to help these people that are in distress. And Q-Link took 250,000 of its customers and gave them free unlimited service, free minutes, free data for the entire month. And we basically contributed back $5 million back to helping people in need. We then reached out to the people who weren't as hard hit, but they were still hit nonetheless in Louisiana, and did the same. And only a month later was Puerto Rico devastated by Hurricane Maria, where we did the exact same thing and reached out to our customers, but we took it a step further. In Puerto Rico, we didn't give them a month of service, we gave them to the end of the year. So we're still today giving people free service in Puerto Rico to reach loved ones, reach emergency 911 service work, whatever it may be. But we also turn around and set up stations for people to go visit that were not our customers, to be able to use our cell phones for free to reach their loved ones in America or anywhere throughout the world, to tell them that they were okay and safe. When we first opened up our retail outlets in Puerto Rico, we went down there to open up the first day. Myself, my wife, my team all went down to help open up our first location. And in doing so, we had hundreds of people lining up to apply for service. And as these people applied, we were excited. We were like, this is going to be a success. We were helping people. And this one particular lady stood out to me. She was a lady in her late 60s. She came over to me and she applied for service and she got approved. And she went out of her way to find out who I was and who the owner of the company was. And I went out and introduced myself, and she told me her story. And her story was a simple story. Her story was that she was retired. She was living on, I think it was at the time, Social Security benefits. She had a limited amount of income. And therefore, on every other month, she decided whether she was going to pay a certain bill or pay her phone bill, whether she had service or not. And by us giving her a phone, I just remember this lady coming up to me, kissing me and hugging me, saying thank you. And she's so grateful. But to see her eyes and see the reaction and impact we had on somebody's life was very important to us. And we felt a very nice, warm feeling inside by doing that. I think if I had to look back at everything that we've done here, and I had to look at a few things that, what are the most important things, or what are the most detrimental things, what things could I tell my younger self, it would be, the first one, to stay on top of technology. We think we master technology, we think we have it down right, we write the systems, we write it, and every single day there's something new. Every single day, whether it be a new pixel from Facebook, a new Penguin release from Google, whether it be the way we're reaching market segments, whether it be how vast and how far-reaching social media is, and how fast we reach these people, and how word of mouth spreads. If you do something great, everybody finds about real quick. But if you do something bad, everybody finds out just as quick. I think quicker sometimes. And I think the technology aspect was very important. I think the second thing that I learned was people. You gotta have the right people around you. You know, a long time ago, a wise man once told me, you're only as good as the military around you. If you're in the battlefield, you're only as good as the troops. So we always keep the best of the best around us. And the best of the best isn't necessarily the highest being paid person or the lowest. It's everybody in between. Everybody has a job that's crucial to the growth of this company. Whether the person that makes the boxes or the person that writes the technology, they all have an equal importance of what they do and how they contribute to this company. The third thing I would have to say would definitely be give back. No matter what you do in this company, in any company, in life, you always have to give back. You always have to be involved with society. You always have to be willing that when you do good, make sure other people benefit from that good. You know, one of the biggest things that people do is antagonizing. And that's something detrimental. I used to antagonize a lot. I used to think about something. I used to overthink it. And not till, you get into business, you realize, you know what? Sometimes you just got to jump. You just got to have a leap of faith, jump into it, and hope to fail. And hope to fail many times. And only then can you figure out where you failed at and how to make those things better. And only then can you succeed. One of the biggest things we do here is when we develop something, we test it. If it works out of the gate, we're very stunned, because it's not supposed to work out of the gate. It's supposed to fail many times before we make it actually do good and make it successful, make it work. There's a certain window of opportunity in anything you do in life, whether it be personal or whether it be business. There's always a certain opportunity. And if you let that opportunity pass you by, you might not ever get that moment again. And I think that sometimes in business, a train of thought is going and you have an idea and you have a philosophy of what you want to do. And then you realize that if you don't execute on it, it becomes too late. It becomes outdated. It becomes something opportunity passed you by. I think the one person I would love to have breakfast with would be Warren Buffett. It wouldn't be because of his wealth. It wouldn't be because of his success. It would be not his philanthropy. It would be because you look at this individual who's one of the wealthiest men in the world, and he's such a down-to-earth guy. He drives the same car, lives in the same small house that he lived in and grew up in, lives in the same city and has the same breakfast every other day. And you look at people like that in life and you say, they're grounded. These are people who could change the world, who donated 90+% of his wealth to philanthropy and society. But never once do you look at this human being and say that he thinks he's above reproach or above anybody. Just a normal, down-to-earth guy. That would be the guy I'd like to be.